Hi, everyone. We are so glad to have you joining us today. Apologies for the delayed start, but we are live now and very excited to be talking about hybrid events. I am so thrilled to have Eldy Nodal joining us. And going into the fall season, this year is going to be bigger and better than ever, coming out of last year where everything was just shut down on the physical front. So let's dive right in and go ahead and put up our supporting slides here on the content. So let me get that pushed up. Hybrid events, all the key information your organization needs to know and how to get the most value out of it. I cannot do Eldy justice in introducing her. She is an absolute subject matter expert. And let me go ahead and pass the ball over to you, Eldy, and take it away with an introduction on all of your experience and background.
Hi, Courtney. It's great working with you. Yeah, I actually have about 20 plus years of experience in the high-tech world here in the Bay Area in events and events marketing. I really enjoy events, but I really like the marketing side of things. So and I love technology, which is interesting because sometimes we have some issues with technology. But I love working with Courtney. It's been a lot of years since I've worked with her, and EMA is a great partner to have. And I'm so thrilled that she asked us to be part of this webinar.
Absolutely. We would not have anyone else when it comes to events. So let's dive right in. Why should we go hybrid? What's in it for you? I mean, what are the advantages? Absolutely thrilled and excited again with the fall season coming up. There's so many opportunities. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I see on the screen we have some metrics here. And metrics are very important. We have seen some uptick in business and professional online events. And also the online events are repeatable, so that's always important. One of the things that's what's in it for you is increased reach and attendance. So not only do you get those people who want to be live, you also get those virtual attendees. There's also a higher engagement level to a hybrid event based on what I said before with the merging the two. Definitely improved ROI, valuable data and metrics, and then more sponsorship opportunities, I believe, is really a key when you have an event that has sponsors, because now your sponsors don't not only have a reach to those live attendees, they also have a reach to those virtual attendees. So it's the best of both worlds, and I'm really excited that this is coming up, and there's some events already in the planning cycle to do hybrid events. So we're gonna see a lot of fun things coming up real soon.
Absolutely, without a doubt. One in particular that really just got my brain just churning on all cylinders is Dreamforce.
Yeah.
I mean, Benioff is hitting every single city across the world the same week, both virtual as well as physical.
Yes.
And it's going to be massive.
Yeah, I am. I'm actually part of that team. And so it's very exciting to be on these planning calls. There's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be very exciting. I'm really excited to be part of that group.
Huge. It's going to absolutely change history of events.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about some of the challenges and things that folks need to take into consideration as they are both a part of hybrid events, as they are sponsoring, as well as planning one of their own.
Yeah, so there are a lot of challenges, right? I mean, there's always challenges in any type of events, whether they're virtual or on live, but you got to treat both as one event. You can't do hybrid, right? You have to make sure that when you do the planning, you do the strategy, you do the content, you got to make sure you're looking at it as one event, not two. And that goes into managing the logistics, the costs, the management, the challenges. Everything has to be as one event. Event content is key, but it's also a challenge, is how do you engage those live attendees as well as those virtual? So the content has to be right on point for both. And then event technology, right? You got to get the right event technology partner to help you, because you don't want to have issues with technology. You don't want to lose those virtual attendees if your technology fails, because they're not going to come back. I mean, hands down, we've seen it in virtual events in 2020, is people, if they get disengaged or the technology doesn't work, they just go off and do their own thing. So you're going to lose them. So an event technology partner is key. And then the other challenge is various time zones. And that's a huge one as well.
Right, right. I've done things where, all virtual, we followed the sun. The time zone thing is definitely something to consider. And we follow the sun through, across Asia, across Europe, and then, over to New York and across here to California. So it's kind of fun.
You don't want to lose those international or other people in different time zones by not engaging them as well, because that's a huge amount of people you're going to lose. So you got to really make sure that you do it correctly.
Right. Awesome. Great. So let's think about merging those both experience, the in-person and as well as the virtual. How do we merge those together, make sure people on the ground as well as in the air are getting the same experience, or the similar type of content?
Right, and that's tricky. I think people are still trying to figure that out right now as we speak. Stay on schedule. This is critical. Again, you're going to lose those virtual. You're not going to lose the live ones, but you're going to lose those virtuals if you don't stay on schedule. You got to make an impression. That's huge. That's with content, right? Content, and also engaging everyone that's part of that event. That's partly games and booths, maybe. I mean, that's still being played out. I mean, the booths part is really hard. We've seen that in virtual events. How do you engage people on these virtual booths? Some are better than others, but they struggle. I think people struggle with that. So that's another thing people are trying to figure out. What's the best way to engage those virtual attendees when you have live booths at these shows? I think that's playing out right now, and there's a lot of discussion on that. You also want to make sure that you have an event partner to do like the virtual side of things, but also the live side of things, and make sure that they work conducive together as a team and they're constantly talking. Make sure your speakers regularly acknowledge the folks calling remotely, right? Because what happens when you have a speaker talking, they're talking to the live audience, but then they forget about those virtual ones. You want to make sure that they are not an afterthought.
Right.
So you want to make sure those speakers know that, and they talk to those virtual attendees as well.
Stay coordinated. Right.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Make sure you've got an admin that is paying attention.
Exactly. You definitely want one of those.
For talk live. Good Lord. Yeah, that absolutely. All of these components come together. It's not as simple as just waving a magic wand. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah. Great. So let's talk about making sure that audiences are engaged. This is a huge sticking point. This is how you bring folks together, and absolutely the demand gen behind it. My background is demand gen. We want to make sure after the event, your folks, your sales folks can reach out, and your audience remembers your company in particular. And that's going to come from making sure your audience is engaged all the way through.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of ways to do that. And we've been on these focus groups and these forums talking about how best to do that. And this is the hard one. As we know, as event people, when you do live events, you can engage them anyway. It's really easy to do. It's a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of networking. There's a lot of talks. But how do you engage both, right? The virtual and the live audiences. Shorter sessions are one of them. Keep your sessions short and snappy. We want to make sure people are engaged that way. Breaks and breakouts are really key. Schedule regular breaks into your agenda to both the in-person and virtual, to take, for people to take a step back and then recharge their batteries. And then how do you offer some virtual entertainment, right? That's a hard one. Do you do other things, maybe do a guided meditation for those live, attendees, and also those virtual ones, so they can unwind. And that's still coming up, right? People are still trying to figure that out. And then content is king. We've all heard the phrase, content is king, and that's never been more true than a hybrid event. You got to make sure that. And then the other one are the two, really the high ones for me, are interaction and networking. How do you how do you get that together? How do you get the live attendees to interact and network with those virtual events attendees? That's a little bit more difficult, right? And so there are apps out there that people are building to do that, right? Do we have an app that people are talking to each other because they're live and they're virtual and they're chatting, and maybe we do some fun stuff. Again, that's in the works. People are thinking about it. People are building apps. But that's the big one, I think, for right now, is the interaction and networking between the virtual and the live attendees.
Absolutely. No, absolutely makes sense. A lot of what we've discussed here does leave some exciting things to pay attention to with this fall, this upcoming season of events. I'm excited. Marketing for me has always been fairly predictable. There's no reason for things to be hair on fire, given how many years we've been in this career.
Right.
But with this 2021 season and the hybrid approach now coming to the table, it is actually a whole new ball game. And when we have to start paying attention to what others are doing and how we can, even elevate it and amplify it even more, it's bringing new and exciting ideas to the table.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up. I really do. I mean, just by all the meetings I'm in and all the chats and all these things, it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a blast. I really do. I'm really excited about it.
Absolutely. There's like a whole tidal wave that's about
to exactly. That's what it feels like sometimes.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining. And if you enjoyed this talk, please reach out. We'd love to talk shop. We're always talking shop. It's hard to get us to talk about much else. Thanks so much, Eldy, for joining. And please reach out to anyone if you're interested in talking more.
Thanks everyone.
All righty. See you.